Hey guys, what's going on, and welcome to another video. In this video we're going to be looking at my Guardian Druid Mythic Plus guide. So I've been tanking quite a lot on Guardian Druid so far. I've tanked lots and lots of 9s in time, as well as a couple of 10s I believe. Most of my 10s are done as healer that win time. But I've been tanking a lot, and Guardian Druid is really fun, as well as being very strong right now and quite underrated. So I'm going to go into how I've been running it and how I've been playing, and hopefully then get a couple more people seeing Guardian Druid as the meta tank, because I genuinely believe they are. So first things first, I'm going to talk about Legendary, because it's a very key point to how Mythic Plus is working for me right now. So I'm running Ursoc's Fury Remembered, which is in bear form Thrash, which is your main AoE bleed. Has a 15% chance to trigger an additional Thrash. This can proc off itself. I've seen this proc up to 7 times. Obviously some crazy luck to do that. But effectively you cast one and it has a 15% chance to cast another one. And it just keeps casting off itself. So in terms of just that effect alone, it does a lot of damage. The second point to this is it grants you an Absorb Shield for 75% of all of the damage it deals. Now, this is the damage from the AoE damage. So it deals a 789 bleed damage, just AoE as part of its swipe. It also then does a bleed. All of that damage counts. So the tick damage from the bleed, as well as the instant damage, all of it counts towards the shield, giving you some absolutely crazy amounts of shielding during a run. Now, I'm actually topping myself and healing myself through most of these runs so far. Guardian Druid just has as much healing as any Blood DK or anything else I've seen so far. Our survivability of this legendary is crazy. We do have a second option for legendaries, and that is Natural Order's Will. It increases the damage reduction from Bark Skin by 10%, which makes it a 30% damage reduction, as well as giving you an Iron Fur and a Frenzied Regen as long as it's cast while in bear form, which if you're tanking, you should be in bear form. Now this is really strong. It gives you 2 Frenzied Regens per Bark Skin. That's the main part of the appeal, I guess. If you run this with the Conduit, which reduces the Bark Skin cooldown, called Tough as Bark, reduces it by 14%, as well as the Talent, Survival of the Fittest, which reduces the cooldown of Bark Skin by 33%, you have a 34, I believe, second cooldown on Bark Skin. It lasts for 12 seconds. You've only got about sort of 20 seconds without a Bark Skin up. You can keep that up for a long time, and you're going to do a lot of healing. I prefer Ursoc's Fury because it's shielding. It's removing the damage as opposed to healing it back up. From what I've seen of tanks running Natural Order Will, you're a little bit more spiky. However, you then pop Bark Skin and you're safe. And you go through phases of being able to do kind of big pulls with Bark Skin every sort of 20 seconds or so, as opposed to Ursoc's Fury, which just scales the more mobs in a pull, and works incredibly well with Incarnation. So me personally, I think our best legendary is definitely Ursoc's Fury Remembered. We have got 2 other legendary options. Both of them are viable. They're both more so damage based than anything else. So for me at the moment, with how kind of squishy we are, because we are low geared compared to where we're going to be in kind of a month or two's time, I would say that these 2 aren't really worth it currently. Now, I'm going to get into stat priority just very quickly. I'm currently running a very versatility heavy build. So I'm almost 500 versatility, almost 400 mastery, almost 400 haste, and 300 crit. Now, this haste I'm going to talk about first because it's probably your least prioritized stat out of the 4. However, for me, I wanted a little bit of haste because it makes the build feel just a little bit more fluid. It does reduce the cooldown of your Thrash as well as your Frenzied Regen, so it is a nice ability. It is a nice stat to have, and it does just increase your dot ticks, which obviously is going to give you a shield now. It just all works nicely together. Crit increases your damage, increases your kind of healing if you heal yourself directly. Obviously increases your damage through Thrash, which means it is going to increase your shield as well, as well as increasing your dodge chance. So crit is a very good stat. For me, I've just been very unlucky with how much crit I've had. I probably wouldn't go too much higher with this though, because the main two stats that I am prioritizing is versatility and mastery. So mastery increases your maximum health by 9.5%, obviously that's based on my mastery as well as increasing your healing received. That's just a blanket thing, which means you're always going to receive more healing than any other tank. That's incredible. It also increases your attack power by 19%, obviously for me based on my mastery. That's really nice. It increases your damage as well, so it's probably one of the most well-rounded kind of stats for us, barring versatility. Versatility does the same for us as it does for everyone else. Increases your damage and healing done by, for me, nearly 12%, and reduces your damage taken by a flat 6%. It's very, very, very strong, and honestly, for Guardian Druid right now, it's probably just the best stat that we can have. I wouldn't say to stack it beyond anything else imaginable, but I would say to chuck a couple of... make sure you're trying to aim for a couple of high versatility pieces. Just a quick tip for anyone that's looking at getting into Guardian Druid or trying to gear up. The PvP vendor sells versatility heavy gear, because obviously for PvP. So I got this amulet this week from the Conquest vendor. 133 flat versatility, as well as whatever off stat you want. For me, I wanted mastery. Really, really strong, really good. That in itself is enough versatility. Kind of, you'll get versatility just on your stats anyway. That's enough of a focus item that you probably don't need to focus it anywhere else. For me, I got quite lucky and got a ring as well, which is very versatility heavy. Between the two, I'm pretty safe. So I'm going to go through the talents quickly that I'm running. Now, there's two different builds that I would suggest that you can run, depending on the legendary. If you're going to run Ursoc's Fury, which is what I'm running currently, you go for Blood Frenzy, Earth Warden, Incarnation, and Rend and Tear. Now, the reason for this is it's very Thrash orientated. Earth Warden, Rend and Tear, Blood Frenzy all work off your Thrash, which means Thrash is just the key component of the build then. Rend and Tear, as long as you get bleeds up, you're going to be reducing the damage they do to you by 6% with 3 stacks. That's brilliant. It also increases your damage as well, which is really nice. Earth Warden is going to reduce the direct damage of auto attacks by 30% for the next auto attack from the ad. Now, this stacks up to 3 times, and obviously you have a legendary that allows you to get additional thrashes. If you get lucky and start hitting 2 or 3 targets or 2 or 3 thrashes, you're going to be able to stack this up for the next couple of auto attacks, and you kind of keep it up all the time. It's almost always my second healing in Mythic Plus, my top one being my legendary. It's very, very, very strong. Incarnation gives you an almost immunity, especially with Ursoc's. If you pull 5 or 6 mobs and you pop Incarnation, just to show you what it does as an ability, I'm going to go to Berserk to get the base stuff and then show you what Incarnation adds. Berserk reduces the cooldown of your Mangle, Thrash, Growl, and Frenzied Regen by 75%, as well as the cost of your Iron Fur by 50%. You then add Incarnation to that. It gives you all the benefits of Berserk, causes your Mangle to hit up to 3 targets, and increases your maximum health by 30%. The main difference is it increases the duration to 30 seconds from 15 seconds, so it doubles it, which is very, very nice for us. And the reason for that is Mythic Plus pulls, they're not typically dead in 15 seconds. However, a big pull can be almost all killed in 30. So you're very, very safe. You've got the extra health, which will obviously always help you out anyway. The Mangle doesn't really offer you much of a benefit, but everything else you can just spam Thrash, Frenzied Regen, and you're going to be able to keep yourself nice and safe. The amount of rage you're going to generate from Blood Frenzy also means that you can spam Iron Furs out pretty much whenever you want to when you're on Trash. You don't have to worry about kind of conserving them. You just keep popping them on cooldown, which is really nice. Your level 25 talent row, I would say you can pick whichever you want. I think Tiger Dash is awful because you have to switch into cat form, which kind of defeats the point for us. So I'd pick between Renewal and Wild Charge. Renewal gives you almost an extra cooldown. If you pop Renewal during Frenzied Regen, bear in mind you get the extra 20% healing from Frenzied Regen as well, you can pretty much full heal yourself in the 2 abilities, which is very, very nice. However, you lose all the mobility that you would gain from Wild Charge. I'm very reliant on my Bear Charge, and I use it quite a lot, so for me, that's not something that I want to change. I would rather have the mobility. It's completely your choice, I just think the mobility is better for me personally. Your 30 and 35 talent row, is completely your choice. I prefer running this, so Heart of the Wild Restoration Affinity. First of all, what does Restoration Affinity give you? Ysera's Gift, it heals you for 3% of your maximum health every 5 seconds, and if you're at full health, it will heal someone else instead if they're low, or obviously if they've taken damage. That's brilliant. It's nice passive healing, don't have to worry about it. It also gives you Rejuvenation, Swift Mend, Wild Growth, and Ursul's Vortex. Ursul's Vortex is one of the best kiting abilities in the game, and having it on a tank is fantastic. Having Rejuvenation and Swift Mend means that you can pop yourself up from bear form and instantly Swift Mend yourself. So I just Swift Mend myself for 12,000 health. That's a third of my health, and I can do that anytime I kite away from the mobs. I just instantly pop up, Rejuvenation, Swift Mend, happy days. Because it scales off your agility, which is very nice. It also works with your mastery, so you can be kicking out some crazy heals, obviously with high versatility as well. It increases our healing done by 12%, increases our healing received by 9.5%. Very nice. It also gives you Wild Growth. Now, Wild Growth is my favourite ability of any of the affinities. 20-second cooldown, heals 5 targets, and heals for a lot of healing. Now, I'm actually running the Wild Growth Conduit, so I will get onto the conduits just in a second. But I'm running the Wild Growth Conduit. I think personally there's nothing else I'd rather run in potency. I could run the Berserk in haste during Berserk. It would give me more damage, but for me personally, I just don't want it. I could run Conflux of Elements to help me convoke the spirits. However, I don't feel like I need that one either. And Savage Combatant, I'm just not using Ball enough, honestly, at the moment. So there are other ones I can use if I change the affinities, but for me personally, I really like Unstoppable Growth, and that's the one I've been playing around with. If you're playing Resto Affinity, don't just play it for the passive heal, though. I will say that the amount you can actually heal in a run is insane. We ran a +9 last night with a healer that unfortunately kept getting DC'd. The amount of times I stood up, threw a couple of heals out, and we could top the group off from that is insane. It scales with everything you want to do as a Guardian Druid anyway. You should be trying to heal as much as you can while you're in a Mythic Plus run. Just take the pressure off the healer, allow the healer to do as much damage as possible as well. Okay? Now, if you don't want to run Resto Affinity, or you're not in a situation where you feel like Resto Affinity is going to offer you very much, my recommendation is to go Balance Affinity. Now, Balance Affinity offers you Moonkin form, which is very useful. I'm going to explain why in a second. Star Surge, which allows you to do a little bit of burst damage, single target. Star Fire, which allows you to do the full Boomkin rotation, because you'll have Wrath, as well as all the other abilities. You will also then have Typhoon, which gives you kind of a different way of kiting than Ursul's Vortex. Now, the reason this is strong, and I will kind of preempt this by saying this is so strong if you're a Night Fae. Now, that sounds really horrible, but Night Fae allows you to convoke the spirits. Convoke the spirits is 16 abilities, and it's based on your current form. So for me at the moment, it would Star Surge, Star Fall, Moonfire, Wrath, and then it would Regrowth, Rejuve, Rake, and Thrash. That's a lot of damage that you're going to be able to kick out as a Boomkin, as well as being able to stand up and Sunfire mobs. You can AoE dot them. There is so much you can do extra damage as Balance Affinity, as well as getting the extra range, which is going to be very nice. So I would say if you're running lower keys and you just want to do it as fast as possible, Balance Affinity is the way to go. If you're running higher keys and you want to be as safe as possible, Restoration Affinity is the way I would play it. But all in all, I can talk about the Covenants. Kyrian doesn't play very nicely for a Guardian Druid because your beam, you would have to switch the beam for it to be worthwhile. Venthea, Ravenous Frenzy, it's very nice if paired with Incarnation. It's probably one of the strongest damage combinations in the game at the moment for tanks. However, I think Convoke the Spirits just offers too much. Necrolord just isn't worth running at the moment. Necrolord Shield, Bone Flesh I believe it's called, is probably the best ability that Necrolord gives. The actual Adaptive Swarm just isn't very good. So guys, I hope this has been a helpful video. I'm trying to keep the duration short, so what I'm going to do is I will release more videos soon, kind of covering other pieces of information in detail. If there's anything I've missed, please let me know in the comments below. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll catch you later. Goodbye, guys.